Coming up on Mountain News at 6, a home is destroyed after a suspicious fire in Rockcastle County. And one eastern Kentucky county receives more than $1 million for outdoor spaces.
And changes to the forecast are headed in our direction for the second half of this week. The latest breakdown ahead as Mountain News at 6 starts now.
Dedicated to eastern and southern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News at 6.
Good evening, I'm Steve Hensley. Kentucky State Police are investigating a fire that destroyed a woman's home. A man was arrested after the fire destroyed the home on Kelsey Drive in Mount Vernon. The homeowner says a dog also died. WYMT's Phil Pendleton spoke to the devastated homeowner.
We was all swimming and we seen the fire truck come by.
Candy Daly came home to find her house in ruins.
It's heartbreaking. I've worked so hard for my kids' stuff. I had just bought all new appliances. We had a brand new washer and dryer set. It's just gone. Everything's just gone.
Daly says neighbors told her that a man was seen going inside the home before the fire started. After the fire, a beloved dog, Chase, was nowhere to be found.
We think he crawled in underneath my daughter's bed, and that's where he burnt, but we're not for sure yet. They haven't found him because he was black and brown.
Jason Bullock was arrested there at the scene of the fire. He was charged with alcohol intoxication and trespassing. He was released from the Rockcastle County Jail after posting bond. However, Kentucky State Police say they are still investigating all of this, and it's likely that information will be presented to a grand jury for a possible indictment.
Police said while speaking with Bullock, they could tell that he was manifestly under the influence of alcohol. Officers were also told that Bullock was seen going into Daly's home where he was not supposed to be. Daly says the future for her is so uncertain now.
I mean, we've lived here almost 10 years. Everything we had just gone. My son lost his PlayStation and all of his controllers and all of his school clothes.
Daly says the Red Cross has helped them, but they still need to find a permanent home. In Rockcastle County, Phil Pendleton, WYMT Mountain News.
Fire officials say 2 firefighters were hurt battling the fire, but the injuries are not life-threatening. State police are investigating after a woman was found dead in Letcher County. KSB received a call late last night regarding a woman who was found unresponsive on Bald Mountain Road in Whitesburg. The preliminary investigation indicates 40-year-old Patricia Dethridge of Whitesburg fell over an embankment. She was pronounced dead at the scene by the Letcher County Coroner's Office. Her body was taken to the State Medical Examiner's Office for an autopsy. No foul play is suspected. We are less than an hour away now from a candlelight vigil being held in Middlesboro to honor a 17-month-old who died from severe abuse at a hospital in Knoxville. Following her death, her mother was taken into custody and charged with manslaughter, failure to report abuse, and wanton endangerment. The Middlesboro Police Department is still investigating the case and are not ruling out more arrests and possible charges. The Candlelight Vigil is scheduled to start at 7 o'clock, and we will have coverage tonight at 11. One local fire department is mourning the loss of one of their own. The Cumberland River Fire and Rescue Department announced Oliver Sexton has died. Sexton served the Cumberland River Fire and Rescue Volunteer Fire Department as well as the Whitesburg Fire Department. Officials say he served both for nearly 2 decades. We do not know the funeral arrangements for Sexton, but we'll pass them along as soon as we get them on our website. One Laurel County man is facing charges after police found him laying beside a road, passed out. The incident happened just south of London last Saturday morning. Deputies found 27-year-old Nathan Bailey III of London beside the road unconscious on Rocky Branch Road. They later determined he was under the influence. He was charged with public intoxication and taken to the Laurel County Correctional Center. A gathering in Floyd County today was all about sharing the strides made in addiction recovery and prevention efforts in the region, bringing together partners who dedicate time to the cause. WYMT's Buddy Forbes has more from the Operation Unite Symposium.
Eastern Kentucky is a place of faith, a place of God, a place of grit, a place where people for years and years and years have stepped up to help their neighbors.
A coalition of community collaboration.
We have 20 years
of people moving into recovery who are back into their communities working and leading.
Celebrating change that comes with generational growth.
We have 20 years of young people growing up in Unite clubs and prevention programs within their schools who are leading the way now.
The Operation Unite Symposium, bringing community partners together, kicked off its first event at the Mountain Arts Center Tuesday, sharing the power of people pushing for progress.
Law enforcement, treatment, and education. And it's all speared on by education, prevention, building that foundation.
Shining a spotlight on the efforts of partners across the region to join forces in addiction prevention, each dribbling a different ball, all with the same goal.
The whole key to Operation Unite's success has been the community, and the communities working together.
Saying though the steps it takes to see major change in Appalachia's addiction crisis are too large to take alone.
We've always referred to our community coalitions as the heartbeat of Unite. But Judge Mullins today said they are the backbone of Unite, and they truly are.
When they unite, they can stand tall. In Floyd County, Buddy Forbes, WYMT Mountain News.
Organizers say they expect to host a similar symposium Thursday in Manchester, recognizing the 32 coalitions, with special guest Congressman Hal Rogers.
Hard to believe today, weather-wise, has been the first day of August because it feels more like the first day of April. Beautiful conditions out there, plenty of sunshine, not a cloud to be seen on our Buffalo Mountain camera. 79 the current reading. Look at this. Low to mid or upper 70s and low 80s region wide. It has been incredibly comfortable. We don't see numbers like this in August very often. And here's numbers we just about never see in August. Look at these dew points, middle and upper 50s. You kidding me? This is wonderful. Too bad it's not going to last as we head through the next few days. Feels like temperature is exactly the same as the air temperature. Your forecast first through tonight. We talked about that grilling forecast. If you got the dogs and the burgers and the dogs on the grill, you're in good shape the next couple hours. But changes are on the way as we head through the next few days. Steve, I'll have the breakdown on when perhaps some heavy rain tries to return to the region in a few minutes.
All right, Evan, thank you. Many schools in the area are about to start another year. WYMT's Chandler Wilcox tells us how one Letcher County school will have a different look than the last time students walked through the doors.
Summer has not really been a break for the Jenkins Independent School System. They've been working on almost a complete makeover here at the Burdine Elementary School.
As soon as students left the building for summer break, we commenced some major construction here. The preschool building is underway. It's being reconstructed. It will be an entirely new preschool.
Renovations were sped up after floodwater damaged the building last year. With the help of grant money and local support, the school will soon look much different than before.
We have new flooring throughout. We are using this as an opportunity to completely restructure our library and build a new library for this building. The entirety of the interior of the building is being painted.
The library was once without walls, which Johnson says was a safety hazard that they are fixing and making as a showpiece.
With school safety these days, that's not best practice. And so we're using this as an opportunity to enclose that library and to make it a showpiece, something that these kids and the staff here can be proud of.
Johnson says some of the renovation projects like the library will not be completed by the start of the school year, but they are hoping they will be finished by the fall season. In Jenkins, Chandler Wilcox, WYMT Mountain News.
Johnson says they've been given around $1.2 million in grants for those renovations. Their school year is set to begin on August 9th, and we have a list on our website of all the school start times across eastern Kentucky if you're interested. Well, Kentucky is in search now of a new education commissioner. Current Commissioner Jason Glass announced his resignation yesterday. He says Senate Bill 150 plus a change in the confirmation procedure for future commissioners were big reasons for his decision.
Education remains a wonderful profession. It is a great way to spend your life. I have never met an educator who, on retirement, didn't look back with anything but a lot of joy about where they spent their professional lives. At the same time, I need to say to the policymakers in Kentucky, you're making that really hard.
The Kentucky Board of Education will hold a special meeting in mid-August to determine the next steps and a timeline for moving forward. Last Friday, on the one-year anniversary of the July flood, Governor Beshear made stops across eastern Kentucky, and he also announced more than $1 million to benefit Perry County, aiming to not just rebuild but revitalize the area. Today, WYMT's Olivia Calfee sat down with Judge Executive Scott Alexander to learn how this money will be spent.
More than $1.3 million. Perry County Judge Executive Scott Alexander says the money will benefit multiple parts of the county.
The biggest part of that money will be for the Upper Second Creek wastewater extension line. The other announcements was for recycling. We're trying to bring up a generation that participates in recycling, and we think that that will really lead to a lot less litter being thrown out on the ground as we recruit tourism here. And tourism is coming, and so one part of the grant money was for phase 3 of the parks.
Alexander says another part of the grant is to improve the bridge leading to the recently announced Skyview housing community, providing nearly 150 homes for flood survivors. Stuff
on the bridge is started. At any time, we'll do the bids for the water, the wastewater, to get the infrastructure pieces going. It's just a great project that's really getting some momentum and moving forward.
In a news release about the funding, Governor Beshear said in part, quote, "1 year ago, we made a promise to Eastern Kentucky that we'd be here every step of the process. We know that we can't just rebuild, we also need to revitalize our communities." And Alexander added that Beshear has done just that.
I tell people all the time, including for me, hold people accountable for results. And he's getting results with this stuff that he's pushing forward. And he has been here every step of the way to help us.
And while rebuilding has been the ultimate goal this year, Alexander says revitalization is also key.
Housing is our #1 issue, but as you grow jobs, as you create opportunities, people's got to have a quality of life. They got to have parks and recreation.
In Perry County, Olivia Calfee, WYMT Mountain News.
Another portion of the funding Governor Beshear announced is $100,000 to the Kentucky River Community Care in Hazard, a private nonprofit community mental health center. He says the staff was instrumental in support for the community during these unprecedented times. Richmond Parks and Recreation cut the ribbon today on a new outdoor fitness court at Lake Reba Park. City leaders say it's another step in promoting health and wellness in that community. Parks and Recreation says they want this court to serve as a motivation for people to get outside and move. There are 7 stations on the court, and one circuit only takes 7 minutes.
As people drive by, they see people working out, which gets them in their head going, maybe I should be working out. But it offers that opportunity, and it doesn't take away from the gyms that are here in town. It actually accentuates it, and it helps people to have another option.
Richmond Mayor Robert Blythe, along with Parks and Recreation, say they are excited to see people use this.
Well, coming up, yet more sunshine for part of tomorrow, but those changes are not far away. The very latest ahead after this.